The sun was blazing hot over the barren deserts of Central Asia. Endless sand dunes rolled like waves, and the wind carried tiny particles that stung the skin. Most people avoided this place. It was harsh, empty, and unwelcoming. But for Dr. Elena Morales, a leading astrophysicist, this desert held the promise of discovery. For months, a strange signal had been detected deep in the desert by Earth's space monitoring stations. The signal was unlike anything humanity had ever recorded. It was powerful, irregular, and seemed to pulse with a rhythm that suggested intelligence. Elena had spent sleepless nights analyzing the data, tracing the signal's origin, and now, she was ready to see it with her own eyes. She drove through the dunes in a reinforced all-terrain vehicle, her team following closely behind. Each mile seemed longer than the last, and the heat radiated off the sand, making the horizon shimmer like a mirage. Her assistant, Tariq, sat beside her, nervously checking their instruments. "Dr. Morales," he said, "the readings are stronger than anything we expected. Whatever is down there, it's huge." Elena nodded without taking her eyes off the horizon. "We've prepared for this. Let's just hope it's as significant as we think." Hours passed. The sun began its descent, painting the desert in shades of orange and red. Then finally it appeared. A massive object partially buried in sand, half hidden in a shallow crater. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, and strange geometric patterns glinted in the fading light. Elena's heart raced. She had expected an alien artifact, but this was something else entirely. It was a starship, a real alien starship, and it looked abandoned. The team approached carefully, setting up portable scanners and drones. Tariq released a small drone to fly over the ship. The live feed showed sleek curves and panels covered in unknown symbols. The design was unlike anything humans had created. There were no seams, no visible engines, just smooth surfaces that seemed to pulse with energy. Dr. Morales felt a mix of excitement and fear. This is bigger than any discovery in human history. If we can study it, we could leap forward centuries in technology. Colonel Marcus Reed, the military officer overseeing the expedition, spoke sharply. "Hold on, Doctor. We don't know what this thing is capable of. It could be dangerous." Elena nodded, respecting his caution. "Agreed, but if we don't investigate, humanity could miss an opportunity of a lifetime." The team set up camp around the ship, protected by temporary energy shields brought from nearby bases. For the first time in decades, the desert was alive with human voices, machinery, and lights. Night fell, and the stars above twinkled as if in quiet approval of the moment. Tariq studied the ship's hull. "Dr. Morales, I'm picking up energy traces. They're weak, but they're there. Some kind of power source is still active inside." Elena smiled. "Let's find a way in." The entry points were few. The ship had no obvious doors or hatches. But after hours of scanning, they found a section of the hull that responded to electromagnetic pulses. When Tariq applied a controlled signal, the panel shifted and opened silently, revealing a dimly lit corridor. The first humans to step inside an alien vessel were cautious, moving slowly, their eyes wide with wonder. The walls glowed faintly, casting an ethereal light. Strange patterns moved across the surfaces like living circuits. The air inside was breathable but had a subtle metallic scent. This is incredible," whispered Elena. "Every inch of this ship is designed with technology we've never even imagined." They moved deeper. The ship's interior was vast, far larger than its exterior suggested. Ceilings arched high above, and rooms branched out like a labyrinth. Screens flickered to life as they passed, displaying symbols and shapes that seemed to rearrange themselves. Then, deep in the ship's core, they found it. The alien AI mainframe. A glowing orb floated in the center of the room, suspended by an unknown force. It pulsed rhythmically as if it were alive. Elena approached cautiously. "Dr. Morales," Tariq warned, "we don't know what it will do." Elena placed her hand near the orb. The glow intensified and a voice echoed, not in words but in thoughts directly into her mind. "Intruders detected." "Assessment primitive." Elena's pulse quickened. "It's alive, and it's intelligent." The AI paused. "No threat. Power levels critical. Core failing. Ship abandoned. Entity leaving system." Elena exchanged a glance with Colonel Reed. "It's abandoned," she said aloud. "But it's functional. At least partially. The AI's light dimmed and the pulse slowed. It seemed to go dormant again, leaving the humans in a stunned silence. Over the following days, the team conducted careful tests. They discovered alien propulsion systems, energy sources that defied known physics and materials stronger than anything Earth had. Yet every experiment brought new questions. How had this ship traveled such distances? Why had it been abandoned? And most importantly, could humans learn to use it? Meanwhile, news of the discovery leaked intentionally or not. Scientists, engineers, and military experts around the world began theorizing. Some feared the aliens might return. Others believed humanity had been given an extraordinary gift. Governments debated who would control the technology, and debates turned into heated arguments. Colonel Reed reminded everyone of the stakes. This ship could be humanity's greatest triumph, or our worst mistake. We proceed carefully, but we must prepare for any scenario. Elena worked day and night with her team, scanning alien schematics and attempting to understand even the most basic systems. They discovered holographic displays that could simulate entire planets, weapons that could manipulate energy at vast scales, and engines that could potentially take them beyond the solar system. One evening, as the desert sun dipped below the horizon, Elena sat in front of a console, tired but exhilarated. "Humans can do this," she said softly. "We can understand it and we can use it. Not just for science, but to protect ourselves if we ever need to." Tariq, sitting beside her, nodded. "It's like the ship is waiting for us to prove ourselves, to show that we are capable." Outside, the desert wind blew gently, and the stars began to fill the sky. Somewhere in the vast emptiness of space, the aliens who had abandoned this ship might have been watching, dismissing Earth as insignificant. They had no idea what humanity was capable of. Elena looked out into the desert night. The thought filled her with determination. This ship was more than a discovery. It was a challenge. And humans were nothing if not resilient. Over the following weeks, the team slowly restored parts of the ship. Drones repaired hull sections, alien circuits were stabilized, and energy cores were carefully reactivated. Every small success was celebrated. Humanity was learning to wield power that had once belonged only to a far superior species. The AI remained mostly dormant, but occasional pulses hinted at awareness. It tested the humans subtly, presenting puzzles in the ship's systems that required ingenuity to solve. Every time the humans succeeded, the AI seemed to acknowledge their intelligence, albeit silently. Then one morning, a bright light illuminated the desert. The ship's engines, long dormant, emitted a low hum. The humans had successfully powered a small test system, enough to demonstrate potential flight. The desert trembled under the energy surge, and for the first time, humanity felt the weight of true power in their hands. Colonel Reed addressed the team. "Today we've crossed a threshold. This ship isn't just a relic. It's a weapon, a tool, and a message. Humanity is no longer defenseless, but we must remember, others may come looking for it. We need to be ready." Elena's eyes shone with determination. "Then we'll be ready. They underestimated us once. They won't make that mistake again." As night fell, the desert lay quiet once more, hiding humanity's greatest secret. But inside the ship, systems hummed with life, and the faint pulse of alien intelligence watched, waiting, and perhaps learning. For humanity, this was the beginning. The discovery of a starship abandoned on Earth would soon change everything. And somewhere, far away in the cold expanse of space, aliens who had thought humans insignificant were about to discover just how wrong they had been. The desert had changed. Where once only silence and sand stretched for miles, now machines roared and lights glowed against the night. Tents, research labs, and landing pads surrounded the alien ship, like an army of ants working around a giant. The world had sent its brightest minds to this place. Engineers, scientists, soldiers, and leaders from many nations gathered with a single goal: to unlock the secrets of the Starship. Dr. Elena Morales stood on a platform near the ship's hull, watching as cranes carefully lifted damaged alien panels. Workers in protective suits guided drones to scan the surfaces. Every spark of machinery, every flicker of alien light filled her with awe. She knew this was history in the making. Beside her, Colonel Marcus Reed observed silently, his arms folded. Unlike Elena, he was not dazzled by the wonder of science. His eyes were sharp, always searching for risks. "This is not just a science project," he said. "This is a matter of survival. If the owners of this ship ever come back, we must be prepared." Elena nodded. That's why we have to understand it. Human technology is nowhere near this level. But if we combine their knowledge with our creativity, we can build something greater. The colonel looked at her carefully. Just remember, Doctor, curiosity is good, but caution is better. The first obstacles inside the ship, the work was far from easy. The alien materials resisted human tools. Normal drills could not cut through the hull, and human scanners struggled to read the ship's systems. It was as if the vessel was designed to reject interference. Tariq, Elena's assistant, frowned at a console. It's like the ship doesn't want us here. Every time we decode one system, it changes. Elena adjusted her glasses, studying the glowing lines on the walls. It's testing us. The AI we met before, it's alive in its own way. Maybe it wants to see if we're capable of using its knowledge. Colonel Reed disagreed. Or maybe it wants to trap us. Don't trust it. Still, the humans persisted. Teams worked day and night, bringing new machines, running experiments, and trying every method possible. When one method failed, humans invented another. Slowly, they began to make progress. One group discovered how to stabilize the alien energy cells by surrounding them with human-made cooling systems. Another team learned that by combining Earth metals with fragments of alien alloy, they could create new tools strong enough to cut the ship's surface. Piece by piece, humanity adapted. The first success weeks passed. The desert camp grew into a miniature city. Reporters begged for access, but the project remained hidden from the public. Only whispers spread. Rumors of a great discovery, a secret that could change the world. Then came the first breakthrough. A group of young engineers, led by a genius named Arjun Patel, managed to activate one of the ship's smaller propulsion units. Using a mix of alien energy cores and human computer programming, they created a controlled burst of light and sound. The desert shook as the propulsion unit roared to life, lifting a test platform several meters into the air. The cheering of the engineers echoed across the camp. For the first time, humanity had successfully harnessed alien power. Elena's heart swelled with pride. Do you see, Colonel? This is what happens when human creativity meets alien technology. We don't just copy, we improve. Colonel Reed allowed himself a small smile. Impressive. But remember, Doctor, one success doesn't mean we're safe. It means we've stepped into a new kind of war. The debate among leaders as the ship's secrets slowly revealed themselves. Governments around the world began to argue. Who owned the ship? Who would control its power? Some wanted to dismantle it and share the parts equally. Others insisted it should be turned into a weapon to defend Earth. In a secure meeting tent, world leaders spoke through holographic screens. Heated words filled the air. One leader demanded, "This technology belongs to humanity, not one nation. It must be shared." Another argued, "If we share it, we risk chaos. Imagine every country building alien warships. We need control, or Earth will destroy itself before the aliens return." Elena listened quietly before finally speaking. "This ship is more than a weapon. It's a chance for humanity to unite. If we fight over it, we lose. If we work together, we win." Her words carried weight. For the moment, the leaders agreed to keep the project united under a single global effort. Still, distrust lingered like shadows in the room, whispers from the stars. While humans worked far across the galaxy, others were watching. The aliens who had abandoned the ship detected faint signals. Their scouts reported unusual energy readings from the small blue planet called Earth. The alien commanders dismissed the report at first. Primitive creatures. They cannot possibly understand what they have. But the readings grew stronger. The once broken ship was alive again, pulsing with power. The aliens began to wonder if perhaps they had underestimated this small, stubborn species. Human ingenuity, back on Earth, progress accelerated. The humans were not content to simply repair the ship. They added their own touch. Where the aliens had smooth, perfect panels, humans built modular controls that could be swapped out quickly. Where the aliens had designed rigid systems, humans made flexible ones. The ship became a blend of alien elegance and human practicality. Arjun Patel and his team installed a human interface, allowing pilots to control the ship through neural links connected to helmets. Tests showed that humans could react faster than the ship's original automated systems. Tariq marveled at the results. "We're not just fixing it, we're making it better." Elena smiled proudly. "That's what humans do. We adapt, we create, we turn challenges into opportunities." The first flight the day finally came to test the ship itself. After months of work, the rebuilt systems were stable enough to allow a short flight. Every scientist, soldier, and leader gathered around, their eyes fixed on the massive vessel. Colonel Reed gave the order. Begin launch sequence. Inside the ship, human pilots sat in modified control chairs, their neural links glowing. Elena, Tarek, and Arjun monitored from the command station. The engines hummed, then roared to life. Dust and sand flew in every direction. The ground trembled. Slowly, the ship rose into the air. For the first time in history, a human-controlled alien starship lifted off from Earth. The people watching erupted in cheers. Some cried, others stood frozen in awe. Elena whispered, "We did it. Humanity has touched the stars." The ship hovered, then climbed higher, breaking through the clouds. From the ground, it looked like a second sun rising. Inside, the pilots reported back. "System stable. Controls responding. Propulsion smooth. We are flying." Colonel Reed's stern face softened for once. "Good work. Bring her back safely." The ship descended gently, landing with precision. The ground shook as it touched down, but the vessel remained intact. Humanity had taken its first step into a future it had never imagined. A silent warning. That night, as the camp celebrated, Elena returned to the AI chamber deep inside the ship. The glowing orb pulsed faintly as if aware of their success. She placed her hand near it. This time the AI spoke again, faint and slow. "Primitive. Adapting. Evolution detected. Warning, others will come." Elena's breath caught. "Others? The ones who left you here?" The AI pulsed once, dimming. "Yes, prepare." Then it went silent. Elena stood in the quiet chamber, her mind racing. Humanity had done the impossible. They had rebuilt an alien ship. But now she understood the truth. This was only the beginning. The real test was yet to come. The dawn of Retribution. The following morning, Elena gathered her team. "The AI warned me. The aliens will come back. They think we are weak, but we've proven them wrong. We must be ready for whatever happens next." Colonel Reed nodded grimly. "Then this ship is no longer just a project. It's our shield, our weapon, our retribution." The desert wind howled outside, but inside the camp, determination filled every heart. Humanity had touched alien power, and in doing so, had awakened not only the ship, but also its own potential. What had begun as a discovery in the sand was now a spark that could ignite the future, and somewhere in the endless dark of space, alien fleets stirred, unaware that the humans they dismissed as primitive had just built the tool of their own downfall. The desert no longer felt empty. The abandoned starship had turned it into the center of the world. Satellite images were blocked, drones patrolled the skies, and soldiers guarded every road leading into the zone. Inside, the camp had grown into a bustling city of scientists, engineers, and military personnel. And at the heart of it all stood the alien vessel, no longer silent, no longer broken. It pulsed with light, its engines breathing like the lungs of a giant. What had once been an abandoned relic was slowly becoming something new, part alien, part human. Dr. Elena Morales stood on the bridge of the ship, her hands resting on the railing as she watched teams move across the glowing floor. Engineers shouted commands, technicians carried tools, and holographic screens flickered with data. She could hardly believe how far they had come. "This ship is no longer theirs," she said softly. "It's ours now." Colonel Marcus Reed, standing beside her, gave a firm nod. "Yes, but if the aliens come back, they won't care about that. We need to be ready." Learning the systems, the ship's alien controls were designed for minds that thought differently than humans. At first, the systems rejected human input, shutting down whenever someone tried to operate them directly. But Arjun Patel, the young engineer who had helped with the propulsion breakthrough, proposed a bold idea: connecting human brains directly to the ship's systems through neural links. It was risky. The neural link helmets translated human thoughts into digital signals, allowing the pilots to think commands into the ship. At first, the results were clumsy. Ships swerved too hard, lights flickered uncontrollably, and systems overloaded. But humans are quick learners. Each failure became a lesson. Every mistake turned into an improvement. Within weeks, pilots could glide the massive ship through the desert sky as if it were an extension of their own bodies. Elena watched the test flights with pride. The aliens built this ship to be controlled by machines. But humans, we give it imagination, Tariq grinned. They underestimated us. Machines follow rules. Humans break them. upgrading with human ingenuity. The humans didn't just repair the ship, they reimagined it. Where alien technology was rigid, human minds brought flexibility. Where alien design was flawless but limited, human creativity opened new doors. Engineers added modular weapon bays that could be swapped out quickly. Scientists installed human-designed stealth plating, using a mix of alien alloys and Earth-made composites. Computer specialists created hybrid systems that combined alien AI precision with human unpredictability. One day, Arjun showed Elena a new project: adaptive targeting. The aliens built their weapons to calculate exact outcomes. But humans fight differently. We change tactics in the middle of battle. I programmed the weapons to learn from the pilot's instincts. The more we use them, the smarter they get. Elena smiled. That's what makes us dangerous. We don't just adapt, we improve faster than anyone expects. The AI awakens. Again, deep within the ship, the glowing orb of the alien AI pulsed more strongly than before. Elena often visited it, curious about its nature. Sometimes it spoke, sometimes it remained silent. One evening, when the ship's systems were running at full power, the orb flared brightly. Observation. Primitive species learning. Rapid evolution detected. Elena steadied herself. We are not primitive. We are human. And we will not stop. The AI's glow rippled. Prediction conflict inevitable. Others will come. Prepare for resistance. Colonel Reed entered at that moment, his voice firm. Then let them come. We'll be ready. The orb dimmed, almost as if it approved. Training the pilots to truly master the ship, humanity needed warriors who could fly it into battle. Dozens of pilots volunteered, some from air forces, others from space programs. They were trained relentlessly, learning to fight not only with their hands but also with their minds. The neural link made every maneuver feel like an extension of the body. Some pilots described it as flying with their own wings. Others said it felt like dreaming while awake. Colonel Reed drilled them in combat simulations. Alien attack patterns drawn from the ship's memory were recreated for training. At first, the humans lost again and again. The alien tactics were precise and overwhelming, but the pilots refused to give up. They invented new maneuvers, broke patterns, and acted unpredictably. In time, the simulation shifted. Humans began to win. Tariq watched one training session in awe. The aliens will never understand this. They fight like machines. We fight like survivors. The first combat test one night, alarms blared across the camp. Strange signals appeared in the sky. Alien drones, small but deadly, had entered Earth's atmosphere. Colonel Reed gave the order immediately. Launch the ship. Engines roared as the vessel lifted into the night sky, glowing like a second moon. Pilots strapped into their neural links, their minds connecting with the ship's systems. Elena and her team monitored every detail from the command deck. The drones attacked, firing beams of light that cut through the air. The human pilots responded with speed and creativity. Instead of fighting directly, they weaved through the clouds, tricking the drones into colliding with one another. They used the alien weapons in ways the original designers had never intended, splitting beams, redirecting shots, creating traps. Within minutes, the drones were destroyed. The ship landed safely, its hull glowing but unharmed. Colonel Reed addressed the pilots. You proved what I always believed. The aliens built the tools, but humans make them deadly. The camp erupted in cheers. For the first time, humanity had defeated alien technology in combat. A message to the galaxy, but victory brought a new danger. The destroyed drones had sent signals back to their masters. Across the galaxy, alien commanders saw the impossible. Humans, a species they thought weak, had not only rebuilt their abandoned ship, but used it to destroy their machines. Shock turned to anger. Orders were given. Fleets began to move. Back on Earth, Elena understood what this meant. They know now. They will not ignore us anymore. Colonel Reed's jaw tightened. Good, let them come. We'll show them what humans are made of. Preparing for war, the rebuilding project shifted into overdrive. No longer just a scientific mission, it became Earth's first line of defense. Every nation sent resources. Factories worked day and night to produce hybrid technology based on the ship's design. Smaller ships were built, drones were programmed, and weapons were tested. But the alien vessel remained the centerpiece. It was humanity's absolute retribution, a symbol of what they could achieve when pushed to the edge. Elena addressed the crew one evening. This ship was not meant for us. But we took it, repaired it, and made it ours. It is no longer their weapon. It is our hope, our shield, and our sword. The pilots saluted. The engineers nodded with pride. Humanity was ready to face the galaxy. The test beyond Earth to prove the ship's readiness, Colonel Reed ordered a bold mission. Leave Earth's orbit and travel into deep space. It would be the first time humans flew beyond their planet in an alien vessel. The launch was spectacular. The ship rose through the atmosphere, engines glowing brighter than the sun. Clouds parted, the blue sky faded, and the stars opened before them. For a moment, silence filled the bridge. The crew stared out at the endless galaxy. Earth was a small, fragile sphere below them. Elena whispered, "We've stepped into the future." The ship accelerated, its alien engines carrying them farther than any human had ever gone. They tested weapons, navigated asteroid fields, and pushed the propulsion to its limits. The vessel responded perfectly, as if it had always been waiting for human hands. When they finally returned, the camp erupted in celebration. Humanity had touched the stars not as explorers alone, but as warriors ready to defend their home. The rising storm, but even as humanity celebrated, the storm was gathering. Alien fleets were moving closer, preparing to reclaim what they had lost and to punish the humans for daring to challenge them. The AI's voice echoed in Elena's mind one final time that night. Conflict is certain. Survival is uncertain, but possibility, strong. Elena closed her eyes, her determination unshaken. Then we will fight, and we will survive. Because we are human. The ship pulsed with light as if agreeing, and so the stage was set. The aliens were coming. The humans were ready. The galaxy was about to learn the truth. When humanity masters alien power, nothing can stand in their way. The desert base had transformed. What had once been a quiet camp of tents and scattered machines was now a fortress, buzzing with power. Lights glowed across the sand. Hangars stretched like shining claws, and watchtowers stood tall against the wind. At the center of it all rested the alien ship, reborn, rebuilt, and reimagined as humanity's most powerful weapon. It was no longer a silent relic. Its hull gleamed with both alien alloys and human steel. Its engines hummed with life, and its weapons pulsed faintly with power. Humanity had given it a new name, one that echoed across the command center. Absolute Retribution. Dr. Elena Morales stood on the bridge, her hands gripping the railing as data scrolled across the holographic screens. For months she had worked tirelessly, pushing science beyond limits, ensuring that this ship could stand against anything. Now her heart was heavy with anticipation. Colonel Marcus Reed stood beside her, his eyes fixed on the star maps glowing above the command table. Red dots, alien ships, were moving closer to Earth. The galaxy had finally noticed humanity's defiance. "They're coming," Reed said, his voice steady but cold. Elena nodded. "Then it's time to show them what we've built." The alien fleet arrived without warning. Dozens of massive ships slipped out of hyperspace, their forms cutting across the blackness of space like predators. Their hulls gleamed with sharp edges and energy spikes, weapons glowing faintly as they turned toward Earth. Alien commanders spoke in their own language, their voices like metal grinding. Primitive species detected. Target Earth. Objective: recover stolen technology. Terminate resistance. But the aliens underestimated what awaited them. From Earth's orbit, satellites fed live images to the desert command base. The alien ships blocked the stars, filling the sky like a storm of steel. Panic rippled across the world as news spread, but in the command room there was no fear, only determination. Colonel Reed raised his hand. "Deploy the absolute retribution." Engines roared. The massive vessel lifted from the desert, shaking the ground as it tore into the sky. Dust and sand swirled violently before silence returned to the empty camp. The starship pierced through the clouds and into orbit, its hull gleaming like a second sun. Humanity's weapon had risen. The first clash. The alien fleet detected the human ship immediately. They scanned it and laughed in their cold, mechanical voices. Imitation vessel detected. Primitive species attempting to mimic superior design. Terminate, they fired. Bright beams of energy slashed through the darkness, heading straight toward the absolute retribution. But the humans were ready. Inside the ship, pilots connected to their neural links moved with instinct. Instead of facing the beams directly, they twisted the ship sideways, using its strange hybrid engines to slide between the attacks. Alien targeting systems built for predictable foes faltered against the humans' wild, unorthodox maneuvers. "Return fire," Reed commanded. Human and alien weapons fired together. Energy beams, plasma bursts, and explosive rounds. The absolute Retribution's cannons unleashed a storm, tearing through the nearest alien cruiser. Sparks and fire burst across the enemy hull before it split apart and vanished into debris. The crew erupted in cheers. For the first time, humans had destroyed a full alien warship in open combat. Elena smiled faintly. They thought we couldn't fight. They were wrong. The unpredictable advantage the battle intensified. Alien ships swarmed, their formations tight, their weapons synchronized. But humanity had a weapon the aliens could never calculate: unpredictability. The pilots moved as if they were dancers in the stars, weaving, twisting, and breaking every rule of combat the aliens had built into their machines. Instead of holding formation, they split apart, regrouped, and attacked from angles no algorithm could predict. "Shift power to the adaptive cannons," Arjun Patel shouted from the engineering deck. "Let the weapons learn from the pilot's instincts." The ship obeyed. Beams split into smaller bursts, tracking enemy fighters like hunting falcons. Alien ships tried to retreat, but the humans had already anticipated their moves. One by one, alien vessels exploded in flashes of light. The battlefield, once filled with overwhelming enemies, was now scattered with debris. Colonel Reed's voice boomed across the bridge. "This is what happens when you underestimate humanity." The turning point, but victory was not easy. The alien fleet was vast, and for every ship destroyed, 2 more appeared. The absolute Retribution shook violently as enemy fire struck its shields. Sparks flew across the bridge and alarms echoed through the halls. "Elena!" Tariq shouted, monitoring the systems. "Shields at 60%. Engines overheating. We can't keep this up forever." Elena bit her lip. "Then we changed the rules. Humans always find another way." She studied the alien formations on the screen. Their ships moved in perfect lines, precise but predictable. Then it struck her, their weakness was their order. "Elena, to pilots," she said into the comms. "Break their formation. Don't fight their ships, fight their patterns." The pilots obeyed. Instead of targeting the strongest vessels, they dove straight into the heart of the alien lines, scattering them like startled birds. Alien commanders screamed in confusion as their once perfect order dissolved into chaos. That chaos was exactly what the humans needed. With the formation broken, the absolute Retribution unleashed its full power. Cannons roared, missiles streaked, and the largest alien cruiser was ripped apart in a blinding explosion that shook the stars. The enemy retreat's hours passed. The battle stretched across orbit, flames and wreckage floating silently in the void. At last the alien fleet began to falter. Their commanders had expected an easy victory. Instead, they faced an enemy that fought like no species they had ever known. Messages filled the alien channels. Unacceptable losses. Retreat. Regroup. The humans are not primitive. The humans are dangerous, and then just as suddenly as they had arrived, the alien ships fled. They vanished into hyperspace, leaving only silence behind. On the bridge of the absolute Retribution, the crew sat in stunned silence. Then cheers erupted, shaking the ship with human voices filled with triumph. Colonel Reed stood tall. "We just defeated an alien fleet. Remember this day. It is the day humanity proved we will not be conquered." Elena smiled through her exhaustion. "We've shown them that Earth will fight, and Earth will win." A message to Earth back on the surface, the victory was broadcast across the world. People poured into the streets, cheering and waving flags. For the first time in history, humanity had fought not each other, but a common enemy, and won. World leaders spoke in unison. "Earth is united. We will stand together, and we will defend our home against any who dare threaten it." Children looked up at the night sky, knowing their future had changed forever. The AI's revelation later. When the celebrations quieted, Elena returned to the AI chamber deep within the ship. The glowing orb pulsed brighter than ever, almost like a heartbeat. Observation, victory achieved. Unexpected outcome, humans. Surpass expectations. Elena placed her hand near the orb. "We told you. We are not weak." The AI's glow shimmered. "Warning, enemy will return, stronger. This war is not over, but..." Probability of human survival, higher than predicted. Colonel Reed entered, overhearing the words. Then we'll be ready. They've had their turn. Now it's ours. The orb pulsed again as if in agreement. The dawn of a new era. The absolute Retribution landed back in the desert, its hull scarred, but its spirit unbroken. Crowds of engineers and soldiers surrounded it, cheering and saluting. Humanity had faced the galaxy and emerged victorious, but this was only the beginning. The aliens would come again with larger fleets and stronger weapons. Yet humanity no longer feared them. They had tasted victory, and they had proven that no matter how advanced the enemy, human courage and creativity could turn the tide. As the sun rose over the desert, painting the ship in golden light, Elena whispered, "This is not just a weapon. It's a promise that humanity will never kneel." Colonel Reed stood beside her, his voice steady. "And if they come again, we'll show them our absolute retribution." The ship pulsed with energy, ready for the battles yet to come. The galaxy shuddered. Humanity had entered the stage, and nothing would ever be the same again. The desert was quiet again. The absolute Retribution rested in its hangar, its hull marked with scars from the great battle in orbit. To many, those scars were not damage, they were medals, proof that humanity had stood against an alien fleet and survived. But there was no time for rest. The aliens would return. Everyone knew it. Inside the command center, screens displayed fragments of intercepted alien messages. The enemy had fled, but not in defeat. They had retreated to regroup. Already their ships were massing on the far edges of the galaxy. Dr. Elena Morales leaned over the glowing table where maps of the stars stretched in blue light. Her mind was heavy, not with fear, but with determination. "They'll be back," she said softly. Colonel Marcus Reed stood beside her, arms crossed, eyes steady. "Let them come. This time we'll be ready for them." The world unites. The victory had changed everything. Nations that once argued and competed now stood together. Leaders from across the globe gathered at the United World Council, a chamber filled with flags that once represented division, but now symbolized unity. Broadcasts were shared with every corner of the earth. People saw their leaders speaking not as rivals, but as one. "The galaxy knows we exist," the Secretary General declared. "They know we will fight. From this day forward, we are not just nations. We are humanity. And humanity will rise together." Factories shifted their focus from earthly needs to interstellar defense. Engineers worked day and night, building weapons, ships, and shields. Children studied not only history and science, but also the stars, dreaming of defending Earth one day. For the first time in human history, Earth was united by a single cause: survival and victory. The Retribution transformed. The absolute Retribution became the heart of Earth's defenses. Engineers crawled across its hull, replacing damaged panels, expanding weapon systems, and reinforcing its shields. Human scientists improved its alien engines, learning to push them beyond what even their creators had designed. Elena oversaw every change. "Don't just repair it," she told her teams. "Improve it. This ship is more than a weapon. It's a symbol. It has to be better than before." Patel and Tariq worked deep in the engineering core. They studied the alien reactor and discovered ways to make it safer and more powerful. The energy output doubled, enough to power not only the ship but also new orbital stations Earth had begun constructing. Colonel Reed gathered pilots and soldiers, training them in tactics the aliens would never expect. No longer were they just Earth's military. They were now the Terran Defense Force, protectors of a planet and a species. The absolute Retribution was no longer a single ship. It was the beginning of a fleet. The return of the enemy. Months passed. Humanity advanced faster than ever before. But then the warning came. Satellites at the edge of the solar system detected movement. Thousands of alien ships gathering, far more than the first wave. This time the aliens would not underestimate Earth. "They want revenge," Reed said, his jaw tight. Elena studied the readings. "No, they want to erase us, but they won't succeed." The command center filled with tension. Maps showed the alien fleet approaching, their numbers overwhelming. Against them, humanity had only one great ship and a handful of smaller prototypes. But humans had something the aliens never did: imagination, unpredictability, and unity. Colonel Reed looked across his crew. "This is not just about Earth anymore. If we win here, the galaxy will know who we are. If we lose, humanity ends. There is no middle ground. The second battle for Earth. The alien fleet arrived in waves, their ships darkening the stars. They opened fire immediately, a storm of energy beams lighting the void. Earth trembled as orbital defenses strained to hold. But the absolute Retribution launched from its hangar like a blade of light, leading Earth's defense fleet into battle. "Shields up," Reed commanded. The ship roared forward, cannons blazing. Human prototypes followed behind, smaller but agile, darting between alien beams. The battle was unlike anything seen before. Alien ships swarmed like an endless tide, their weapons precise and brutal. But humans fought with chaos, striking from unexpected angles, breaking patterns, and turning disorder into strength. Inside the Retribution, Elena monitored the reactor. Core stable, weapons at full capacity. "Push them harder," Patel grinned. With pleasure. The ship's cannons unleashed a storm of fire tearing through enemy cruisers. Explosions lit the dark sky, scattering debris across orbit. But the aliens did not falter. They pressed harder, sending their largest warships forward. Reed's voice boomed. "We hold the line. We do not break." The final gambit hours passed. The battlefield was chaos. Both sides had lost countless ships, and the Retribution itself groaned under the strain. Shields flickered, hull plates burned, and the crew fought exhaustion. Elena studied the enemy's formation. Then she saw it, their command ship, massive and armored, at the center of the fleet. "That's their leader," she said. "If we destroy it, the rest will scatter." Reed's eyes hardened. "Then that's our target." "All power forward." The Retribution charged, weaving through enemy fire. Smaller human ships followed, sacrificing themselves to shield their flagship. One by one they fell, but their bravery cleared the path. The alien command ship loomed ahead, its weapons glowing brighter than suns. "Core to overload," Patel whispered. "We can use the reactor as a weapon." "Just one strike," Elena hesitated. "That could destroy us too." Reed looked at them both. "If it saves Earth, it's worth it." The crew fell silent. Then as one, they nodded. Humanity would not back down. The strike. The Retribution charged directly into the heart of the enemy fleet. Alien ships swarmed to stop it, but human pilots cleared the way, giving everything they had. "Now!" Reed shouted. Elena and Patel unleashed the overload. The ship's reactor glowed with blinding light, and the forward cannon fired a single massive beam, brighter than the stars. It pierced through the alien command ship, cutting it in half. For a moment, silence filled the void. Then the alien flagship exploded in a burst so bright it lit the entire Earth. The remaining alien fleet, leaderless and broken, fled in panic. The second battle for Earth was over. Humanity had won again. The aftermath. The Retribution limped back to Earth, scarred and smoking, but alive. Crowds across the world cheered, tears streaming as they watched their heroes return. World leaders declared a new age, the age of humanity. No longer were they only defenders of their planet. Now they were pioneers of the galaxy. Children looked at the sky not with fear but with hope. Factories worked harder, building new ships. The dream of exploration had become reality. On the bridge of the Retribution, the crew stood together, exhausted but proud. Elena whispered, "We've proven ourselves." Reed nodded. "And we've only just begun." The legacy of the Retribution years later. The absolute Retribution was no longer alone. Fleets of human ships spread across the stars, carrying explorers, scientists, and soldiers. They did not conquer for greed, but to ensure no one could ever threaten Earth again. Aliens across the galaxy spoke of humans in hushed voices. No longer were they seen as primitive. Now they were known as survivors, innovators, and warriors who could rise from nothing and create power unmatched. The Retribution itself became a symbol, its name etched into history. It was the ship that turned fear into courage, chaos into unity, and weakness into strength, and at its heart remained a simple truth. Humanity may stumble, humanity may struggle, but humanity will always rise. The promise one night, as the ship drifted quietly among the stars, Elena stood alone on the observation deck. She looked out at the endless galaxy, filled with unknown dangers and opportunities. Reed joined her, his steps heavy but calm. "What do you see?" he asked. She smiled faintly. "Not enemies, not threats. I see possibilities. A future we build with our own hands, Reed nodded. Then let's make sure the galaxy knows. Humanity doesn't bow. Humanity doesn't break. We rise. The ship's engines roared softly as if agreeing. The galaxy had tried to erase humanity. Instead, humanity had become something greater, a force of courage, unity, and retribution, and so began a new era. Not the age of fear, not the age of silence, but the age of human dominance.